Hey guys, it's Amber and welcome to December Daily Day 11. So I am going to be doing my Christmas card for the year, and what I want to do is create a transparency that'll lay over it. I have this awesome download from Nikki Latz, that's NICKYLAATZ.com. She has this whole awesome thing of downloads on her website. So I'm going to be printing this in this rose gold vinyl here, adhesive that I got. I actually bought this at Tuesday Morning, but it's American Crafts brand, which is pretty awesome. And I only got it for like $5. So I'm going to be cutting this out and sending it to my silhouette soon. Sorry. And then it's going to be a really simple page. I think the number 11 is going to end up going right here on the transparency. I'll probably back that with some sort of paper, or I might do like a round die cut that I can use to back it and cover it up on the back side. We'll see how it goes once I've got it attached to the acetate. But I will be filming all of those parts so you can see how it works with the vinyl. It's only my second or third time trying it, so I'm excited to play with it. And we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks so much. Alright guys, so I just have you on fast forward here, and what I'm doing is cutting the metallic foil down. This is actually really kind of harder to work with because it's really thick and really wanted to curl back into position, but I just used my large 12x12 Making Memories trimmer here, and I made the piece 6x8. So I just, cut 6 inches off. And normally I have a magnet that works on here, which I sometimes have to use with the thinner vinyl, but or even like the mink material stuff that gets used, but this is thick enough that I was able to hold it and manipulate it pretty well. So I just thought people who've never really seen vinyl get used might like to see the entire process here, because my page for day 11 is actually very, very quick. But so I'm doing here, this is the cutting mat for the silhouette, and I'm peeling off the sticky cover that protects it, or the cover that prevents it from being sticky, and I applied that in the top left hand corner where my design is also at. And I'm grabbing my silhouette, which I've been using it lately, so it happens to already be plugged in and connected to my computer. Normally it's not. And then I'm just lining up my cutting mat, getting it in there, and then you just saw me reach up, grab my mouse, and click send to silhouette. So I have a high-speed video here showing it during the cut. And then here I'm showing you the weeding portion where I'm using the tool to pull out all the smaller pieces from inside all of the letters. And then here I am pulling the entire piece away once I've weeded most of this away. And it was kind of thick, and there was one tiny little spot that did not cut perfectly well, so I had to kind of work around that, and I was trying very hard not to tear it. This is kind of a delicate cut. But it's a really beautiful design, and I thought it was a really fun way to showcase that I was telling the story of my Christmas cards, and there's no journaling on this page, just this transparency in the card itself. So it's kind of self-explanatory. So thereafter that one piece got trimmed with my scissors, I was able to finally, and I think there's a little bit more hung up there too, and I was trying so hard not to rip it or tear it because I didn't want to redo this whole trim and cut and weeding process for one little letter. So I just was really careful with it until I could get it separated. And I don't know if you can see on the left-hand portion of the W in Wishes, there's a piece that normally I catch if something doesn't look rounded, and it was a very squared off swirl. So I also use my scissors to cut that off eventually. And here I am using the transfer paper. I cut it smaller than 6x8, just barely covering the letters. And I'm using this little burnishing tool. I think it's a Cricut that I found at Michael's or some other craft store, so that I can just get really smooth, get out all the bubbles. And what this will do is pick up the design so that it can be transferred. So I'm cutting my acetate piece. This is one of those graphics 12x12 0.007 clear acetate pieces that Allie's been using. Amy Gretchen introduced me to them a while ago, and they're really handy. They can be printed on with like a laser printer or inkjet, I forget which. They can be printed on. You can run them through the Mink with that ink on it. They make great transparencies. I've been using them for my vinyl or as like a clear page. And I just use my hole punch there, got the holes printed or punched, and then double checked that it lined up with the page protector. And now I'm finally ready. I peel off everything, and then I realized for my placement, and there I'm cutting off probably that piece of the W here shortly. I'm just trimming around some stuff, but I realized that I don't want to just guess at like how it's lined up because it's hard to see. It's clear on white, and I have a little bit of shadow, so I grabbed my basic gray matte, and you can see I just have the transparency lined up in the middle there. All I'm doing is using this for placement so that I can make sure that my transparency is straight because this is on a slight angle. And then once I get that placement down, I just move it out of the way, and then I can get into burnishing. And I apologize if you hear my cat meowing in the background. He hears my voice and he's locked out of the room. So just going through the process of burnishing here. This material was very thick. It wasn't really flexible. It was kind of like rigid and stiff. So like I had to be really careful when working with it because it felt like it wanted to tear, and you could kind of see scratches in it if you weren't careful. So I just was trying to be as careful as I possibly could. And this is the first time that my transfer tape has ripped like it did here. So I had to pull it off in pieces. It was like very like brittle for some strange reason, but the good news is everything did transfer over really well, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. So one of my next steps after that is just admiring it, making sure everything looks really smooth, burnishing down a few little pieces that kind of still had bubbles, but I'll be dealing with my number 11 shortly. So what I did is I took my chipboard number 11 and I traced around it in like the reverse so that I could, actually it wasn't the reverse. I thought it needed to be the reverse and it didn't work out. So I made it look like an offset kind of number. So you could see a little bit of the copper. And the reason I did that is so that it would shine silver on the back and it wouldn't just be plain chipboard on the back of it, because I couldn't do the reverse or it would have shown gold on the back with silver and it just didn't look right. So here you'll see that I'm getting the 11 ready to go and attaching it down, getting it kind of as straight as I possibly can. I'm ripping off all of the extra layers of the chipboard so that it's also nice and thin, and just using my tools there to help me move it and manipulate it. And should be getting that applied, yep. And then I'll add some adhesive to that 11 once I've pulled everything off. So it just shows a tiny bit of the rose gold and some of the white. And I used red line tape for this since it's outside of the page protector. It was more sensitive because I had ripped away the layers of chipboard. So I wanted something really good and secure to make sure that it doesn't fall off, because it'll kind of be in the corner where people will like instinctively grab for it. I may go back and put a little tab on here for moving this throughout the album, but I haven't added one yet, so we'll see. Sometimes I go back and add that stuff at a later time. And I am just about done here, and I will get it all attached and show you how it looks. And then there's one more recording that just shows a final walkthrough of what I ended up deciding to do with the actual photo card. So quite a long video for a very simple layout, but I hope you enjoy. Quite a bit with how to do my Christmas card. So I have this really awesome, put a piece of paper here so you can see it. This really awesome metallic rose gold vinyl here. And I thought of a lot of ways to do that. Back this maybe with white so you could see it and put a pattern here. What I ended up doing was simply just stapling my Christmas card to this holly transparency. It kind of perfectly framed it. There's holly in my Christmas card, which is intentional this year. And on the back side, like, it's pretty well framed and you can see it, but I literally just used my tiny attacher and put 2 staples there. I originally had intended to use this hexagon that said Glad Tidings because I thought it would look really cute with my Christmas card. It had, you know, the foiling in it. But with doing this and then this, couldn't really find a place for it. I considered doing something like this where I cut the top off, but it just was too pink and it just wasn't going. So I'm gonna save it. I'm probably gonna put my Christmas cards I received from other people in here, and I might just put this on the outside of that. So something I'm still playing with, but super simple day 11 with my number, a little bit of foil underneath it, just so it's like offset, and then my card, and then I'm gonna jump into day 12. Thanks so much. Bye.